tonight. NIU's voyage to the bottom of the globe. Downtown DeKalb is looking to change the overnight parking rules, and how the NIU rugby team is helping one family get through the holidays. NTC News Tonight starts now.
You're watching NTC News, DeKalb County's only television news source, on the campus of Northern Illinois University and from the Northern Television Center. This is NTC News Tonight. Thanksgiving is only a week away, and one DeKalb family is thankful to see one of its members for the last time. Good evening. I'm George Rodas. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Fiorella Cola. The NIU rugby team attempted to save the life of a fan, but instead preserved his memory. NTC's Andrea Azzo explains.
This is a little bit of all the places that he went. Like
Mark Crosby's dad traveled all over the world, but it was a trip just outside his home that proved to be his last. John Crosby was walking his dog Jake a couple of weeks ago to watch the NIU rugby team practice. He fell down near this crosswalk.
At first people thought he was playing with his dog, but I could tell it was more serious than that.
Players like Thaddeus Hupp took immediate action.
I started CPR on the individual while Pat Caulfield was monitoring his vitals and everything, and we did everything we could until the emergency personnel got here.
John collapsed right about here, and as some members of the rugby team ran over to help him, others rushed to his house, which is just a few yards away. John died 3 days after he collapsed, but for Mark, the rugby team's actions meant a great deal.
So we all had a time in there to say goodbye, and that was kind of a finalization, and we were felt at peace with, you know, telling him everything we had to.
John used to watch the team practice all the time, even when he wasn't allowed to because of his poor health.
Of course, my dad was the kind of guy that, well, he'll do something just because he told him not to, so because he wants to prove you wrong.
Even though he's gone, John will still be remembered for the gifts he has left behind. In DeKalb, Andrea Azzo, NTC News.
Thanks, Andrea. You know, Mark and his family invited Hop to their Thanksgiving dinner.
That's a very nice gesture from a family who is no doubt going through a lot. Well, now that Thanksgiving is closer, the weather is getting colder, but it can't be as cold as the place where a group of NIU students and professors are heading to. This winter, a research group will be traveling to Antarctica, studying climate change and possible life. They're looking at how much melting ice sheets and rising sea levels are contributing to storms like Hurricane Sandy. 5 people from NRU are part of the team.
The city of DeKalb is discussing rule changes for overnight parking downtown. The current rules for downtown parking do not allow a car to be parked in a lot for more than 12 hours. Certain lots do not even allow parking from 2 to 6 a.m. on different days. The problem is that some residents do not provide their tenants overnight parking at all. Without parking, the residents have to move their cars around nightly. The proposed plan will allow residents to purchase a $120 a year parking permit.
Cortland's anti-landfill expansion group is fighting the dumping of more waste in their town. Stop the Mega Dump group is holding a meeting on Thursday to ask residents if they should legally challenge the waste management landfill expansion. The group is using state code to pursue legal action against waste management, which says town officials can refuse the dumping of more garbage in their town. The meeting starts tonight at the Cortland Lions Club shelter.
From landfilling to land swapping, Kiwanis Park is at the center of a brewing battle between the DeKalb School District and concerned residents. The school district hopes to swap the park for nearly 42 acres of land near DeKalb High School, which could be used for expansion. Now, the 42 acres of land was owned by Sodine Construction, which plans to use it for homes and commercial buildings. Residents protested the idea Monday, saying that the park is important to the community, especially the kids. The superintendents of DeKalb schools say the issue will be discussed openly in the future.
Police are investigating a fire that happened on Friday at an abandoned house in Kingston. Police say that there was no power to the house at the time of the fire, and they don't know how it was caused, but they do suspect foul play. Anyone with information is encouraged to call Crime Stoppers at 815-895-3272. A mental examination is ordered for a Naperville babysitter.
And prosecutors say that Dixon's bookkeeper is giving in. These are today's state lines.
A DuPage County judge has ordered a mental examination for a Naperville woman accused in the stabbing of her 7-year-old son and a 5-year-old girl she was babysitting. Plakowska was arrested last month after police went into the home and found the children dead.
Federal prosecutors say the former comptroller of Dixon will plead guilty to stealing more than $53 million in public money to finance her lavish lifestyle. Rita Crundwell is in federal court today. Prosecutors say Crundwell used her modestly paid town hall job to steal from the city for years.
A federal jury has awarded a Chicago bartender $850,000 after she was beaten by an off-duty Chicago police officer. Carolina Obrika sued, claiming that the city's police adhered to a code of silence to protect fellow officers. The city's lawyers have all but promised to appeal.
Chicago is spending more than $1 million to increase manufacturing training. The money will be used at Austin Polytechnical Academy to train workers in manufacturing skills as well as English and math. Funding will come from economic development funds returned to the city by United Airlines.
Well, the sun was out today, nice and shiny, but I can't say the same about the temperatures.
No, still chilly. Kyle Keel is here. And Kyle, what's the weather looking like this week?
The weather, what you saw today is pretty much what you're going to see throughout the next week or so. So actually, cold temperatures that we have been seeing have been normal, but we should see some more sunshine tomorrow. High temperature here in DeKalb around 50 degrees. Chicago a little cooler along the lake around 48 degrees. We'll preview the forecast for the football game tonight. Coming up next, you're watching NTC News Tonight.
Now the big guy comes off the bat, hitting .342 with 92 RBIs and 36 homers.
Chill raw and prepared foods promptly. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a great Wednesday. We're halfway through the week, and the weekend is right around the corner. We'll preview that weekend forecast here in just a few minutes. But we started off today very crisp at a low of around 27 degrees, which was just slightly below average. But you can see our high temperature warmed up nicely around 45 degrees with plenty of sunshine to go around. And with that sunshine, no precipitation inside. In fact, the only precipitation we could find was some snow associated with an upper level disturbance in parts of Idaho and Wyoming. And then we also have some rain and showers and thunderstorms associated with the front here in Florida. But in between here in DeKalb, nothing going on, which is going to make for a great football game as we head into tonight. The NIU Huskies take on the Toledo Rockets at about 8 o'clock. And skies should be nice and clear for you. Partly cloudy, maybe a few clouds, a low temperature of around 33 degrees at that time with the southeast wind at 6 miles per hour. So make sure you bring a jacket, maybe a pair of gloves and a hat to go with that, and maybe even some hot chocolate to keep you warm because it is going to be a little chilly. And those chilly conditions are going to last throughout the rest of the night, but the skies are going to be nice and pleasant. The nearest disturbance that we have is this upper level system bringing some snow in the northwest. Those pleasant conditions are going to continue as we head into tomorrow. We're going to have high pressure dominating our weather, and the story continues as we head into tomorrow night and Friday as well. But we do have a little trough right here that is going to come through our area, which could bring us a few more clouds than what we have seen the past couple of days, but no precipitation in the near future. So for tonight, if you are headed out to that football game, looking for partly cloudy skies, a low temperature of around 27 degrees. Those winds are going to be light out of the southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, it's going to be another seasonable day with a high temperature of around 50 degrees. So hopefully you can get out and enjoy it. Maybe walking to class is going to be nice and enjoyable. Tomorrow night, once again, seasonable conditions with a low temperature of around 31 degrees, and Friday looking perfect. It's going to be a perfect fall day with a high temperature of around 50 degrees. And as we head into the next 5 days, really there's not going to be much of a change in our temperature or our sky conditions. You can see Saturday 49 degrees with sunny conditions. Sunday looks to be 49 degrees as well with sunny conditions. Maybe a few passing clouds, but definitely a great weekend to get out and enjoy the fall weather before we get into the finals where you're going to have to study. And actually looking out into next week, Thanksgiving looks to be nice and warm as well. That's all I have for weather. Let's head back to the news desk with Fiorella and George.
David Petraeus says he will appear before Congress.
And why Petraeus' affairs have lawmakers looking for a national security threat. Here's what's happening in today's World Watch.
It's a complicated web. See if you can follow this. Lawmakers are digging through emails to see if national security was threatened during former CIA Director David Petraeus' extramarital affair with biographer Paula Broadwell. Broadwell sent harassing emails to a Florida woman, Jill Kelly, who was apparently seen as a romantic rival. And officials say that Kelly, in turn, traded thousands of sometimes flirtatious messages with the top U.S. commander in Afghanistan, John Allen, prompting the Pentagon to investigate him.
David Petraeus will still be going before Congress to answer questions about the September attacks on a U.S. consulate in Libya. Now, 4 Americans were killed, including the U.S. ambassador. Senator Dianne Feinstein says Petraeus has indicated he's willing to testify.
Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she will be looking to keep her job as the Democratic leader in the House. Her colleagues have said for days that the post would be hers if she wanted it. Last week's election left the Democrats still in the minority in the House, even as Democrats gained seats in the Senate and President Barack Obama won a second term.
In northern Australia, tens of thousands of scientists, tourists, and amateur astronomers watched in awe as a total solar eclipse turned day into night for about 2 minutes. Fitness fanatics gathered for a solar eclipse marathon where the first rays of the sun re-emerging from behind the moon was the starting gun. The next total solar eclipse won't happen until March 2015. And that's today's World Watch.
Well, NIU football has a big game tonight.
That's right. It's time for NTC Sports, and Eric Solomon joins us. Eric, how important is this game for the Huskies?
Huge game for the NIU Huskies. Toledo's coming into town. This game could determine who goes to the MAC championship. A win for the Huskies tonight against the Toledo Rockets would ensure 2 things. One is that the Huskies would advance to the MAC championship in Detroit for the 3rd straight year. And secondly, the Huskies would find themselves in the top 25 for the first time this season. However, with a win, Toledo would find themselves at Ford Field playing for the MAC championship. Coach Dave Dorn says the Huskies are going to do everything that they can to make sure the Rockets explode.
I want to beat Toledo because they're the team that stands in our way. And you know, I don't look at them as a team that I have bad blood or ill will towards. You know, we had a great game with them last year. We recruit hard against each other. We're going to play hard against each other, and you know, but they're the team that's in our way, and we got to do everything we can to come out of it with a W.
Should be an incredible game with both teams having a lot to play for. If you can't make it out to the game, make sure you check out ESPN2, where the game will also be broadcasted. Switching gears to basketball, the the Bulls took on the Celtics Monday night, looking to make a statement against one of the East's top teams. The only statement they would make, however, is that they need Derrick Rose back very soon. We'll pick it up in the 3rd quarter, 62-50 Celtics. Rajon Rondo driving to the lane. Look at the nice layup. He nearly had a triple-double on the game. Late 4th quarter, Luol Deng trying to keep the Bulls in it. He lays it in. Keeping the Bulls in it once again, and now in the next possession, Rajon Rondo driving to the lane looking for Paul Pierce, but he will find Luol Deng. Deng on a fast break finds Joakim Noah. He will dunk it in, but Rajon Rondo and the Celtics would be too much. Rondo throws it up. KG grabs it and throws it down. That would seal the game, and the Celtics would go on to beat the Bulls 101-95. A Western Conference clash between the Lakers and the Spurs. Kobe hiding behind Dwight Howard. He pops the 3. Lakers down just 2. 2.5 minutes left. Tony Parker misses his shot. He gets his own rebound. Look at the athleticism. He lays it in. And then with down 3 points, Tim Duncan trying to keep the Spurs in it, and he will over Dwight Howard. 1-point game. Time winding down. The Spurs find Danny Green for a 3-pointer. He hits it. Clutch 3-pointer, putting the Spurs up 2. The Lakers would have one last chance. This is usually a Kobe Bryant situation. The crowd is screaming for him, but Paul Gasol's going to throw it up. He misses. Mad scramble for the ball, and the Spurs would win the game 84-82. The college basketball season is upon us, and Kentucky is looking to repeat as national champions once again. They had an early season clash with Duke, a game that would be a statement win for both teams. Both teams in the top 10 to start the season. Not a real big surprise. Kyle Whistler driving to the lane. He finds Noel. This kid's going to be in the NBA next year. Look out for him. Kentucky with the early lead. Later in the first, Mason Plumlee will get an and one, and Duke would lead by 2 at the half. Midway through the second half, Stephen Curry, he drives to the lane. He had a game-high 23 points. With under a minute left, it is Seth Curry once more. That would seal the deal. Duke would upset Kentucky 75-68. The Monday night game looked like it would be a blowout on paper, but the Chiefs came to play as they visited Pittsburgh in an AFC North matchup. Look at the rain that they're playing with out there. That's why I'm in here and they're out there. No score, Jamal Charles, 12-yard touchdown run, giving the Kansas City Chiefs the early lead. Now watch this play. Ben Roethlisberger looking for Mike Wallace in the end zone. Unbelievable catch, and you're going to see how unbelievable it is on the replay. He grabs it with one hand, puts it between his legs. Unbelievable from the Pro Bowler. Steelers still in the game. We're going to pick it out here in overtime. Second play of overtime. Matt Castle throws the ball, intercepted Lawrence Timmons. He's at the 20. Looks like he may take it back, but he will get pushed out of bounds at the 5, and the Steelers wasting no time. Sean Sweezum with a game-winning field goal, 23 yards out, and the Steelers squeak by 16-13. In sports notes, the NIU men's basketball team will have 3 straight home games coming up, so make sure you go out and check out this year's Husky squad. The women's basketball team has a preseason WNIT coming up, which should be a good test for the Lady Huskies. And finally, a major trade in baseball has Jose Reyes, Josh Johnson, and Mark Burley going to the Blue Jays. Very surprising move, most likely to move those multi-million-dollar contracts that the Marlins have. And now to today's play of the game. We're going to go back to Pittsburgh, and we know we showed you this before, but look at this unbelievable catch. We're going to show you a couple different angles here. Mike Wallace with a catch, #1 on SportsCenter, #1 on our show. He's been unbelievable for years, and just a play that I don't think I've ever seen. Unbelievable play. Steelers once again did go on to win this game 16-13. One more reminder real quick for you guys. It is a blackout game tonight for the Huskies, so if you are planning on going, make sure that you are wearing your black colors, and it should be a very exciting game.
Yeah. How about that catch, by the way? My goodness.
Unbelievable.
Thanks, Eric. Coming up, why texting and driving could no longer be an issue with the help of smartphones. We'll explain.
You said black colors, right? You said blue. Like this.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love.
You know, Fiorella, texting is something you see college students do all over campus.
Oh, no, I do it all the time. I'm what you call a texting fiend.
But texting may be becoming old school, and here's why. For the first time in U.S. history, the number of monthly text messages has fallen to an average of 675 a month. More and more cell phone users have smartphones. So instead of texting, they're using apps like Skype, Google Voice, and Facebook Messenger. Or they're using built-in text services like iMessage, which are all cheaper, too.
You know, I'm pretty sure I have all those apps, actually.
Do you use them all?
2 of them.
2 of them? I think I have them all, too. Anyway, that's all the time we have for you today. For Kyle Keel and Eric Solomon, I'm George Rodas.
And I'm Fiorella Cole. We'll be back this same time tomorrow. Have a good night.